Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the rustic Von Lodge, where I'm doing something a little different today. Instead of doing a weekly reading report today, I'm going to be doing two videos, two videos for the price of one, which is free anyway. But I'm doing two videos today because each of the things that I want to talk about, each of these things deserves its own video. Because they're both fantastic. And the fantastic thing I'm talking about in this video is an absolutely amazing publication that I got in the mail. And there's a reason I got it in the mail. It was sent to me by Philip R. Berger, who is a fellow who has written quite a bit about Edgar Rice Burroughs. And I am busy at this moment reading every book by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And the book I'm due to read next, or the book I was due to read next, was The Maid. And recently I did a video showing all of my Edgar Rice Burroughs books at the time. And I talked about The Maid, and I had a couple different versions of The Maid. One was it was published by Bison. Was the line Bison, Frontiers of the Imagination, or something like that? Anyway, they published an edition of The Maid that was restored. It was the complete and restored Maid. And Philip R. Berger helped with that volume. And he wrote, I can't remember whether it was a foreword or an afterword, but he wrote some stuff in that book. And he also looked over the text, apparently, and corrected a bunch of errors, or at least he tried to. The book apparently was published with a bunch of errors and typos and things like that, which is unfortunate, and he let me know this. And so I had to decide, okay, what am I going to read? What am I going to read for The Maid? Am I going to read this complete and restored edition with text that was cut out from the original but was put back in, but in an edition that has a lot of typos, or do I read my old-timey Ace paperbacks, which were the magazine editions that were cut? I believe they were cut of some of the text, and some of the text was changed and stuff like that. So I had these two choices. And Philip Berger emailed me and he said, you know what, why don't you hold off? I think I have a solution. So just hold off reading this book for a while. And I said, okay, I will hold off. And then he sent me something amazing in the mail. He sent me this. I got this in the mail. This is The Maid, the Centennial edition. It's the Centennial edition of The Maid, which was published by Edgar Rice Burroughs, Incorporated in 2023. So, just not too long ago, this book, The Maid. And it's beautiful. And I knew what it was as soon as I opened the box, and I was shocked. I was absolutely staggered because I remember when this came out from Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated, and I knew it was going to be beautiful and amazing, and that I probably couldn't justify the expense because I knew it was going to be an expensive book. And so I never expected to actually have a copy of this. But this was sent to me by Philip R. Berger, who also sent me a little letter along with it. I'll go ahead and read it because, it's awesome because it's from Philip R. Berger. And he says, "Dear Mr. Vaughn," that's me. "Firstly, enclosed find one tie for Mr. Roger Hotep. I think he would deem it most appropriate. However, should the tie irritate what little skin he have left, I am sure he will let you borrow it for a price." What else could Roger do? He's already made my valet into a vampire. But, I suspect that I will be the one who will actually be wearing this tie from Mr. Berger. So, awesome tie. Thank you. Thank you for the tie. That's fantastic. Secondly, to paraphrase Bill Nighy in Love Actually, "Hiya, kids. Here is an important message from your Uncle Bill. Don't buy books, become a booktuber, and they give you them for free." I never saw Bill. I never saw Uncle Bill in Love Actually. I've never seen Love Actually, because that must be one of those movies that doesn't have monsters in it. So, why would I watch it? Not that you need more books, goodness knows, and I am surprised stately Vaughan Manor has not sunk into the depths of the moors due to their collective weight. I'm kind of surprised too that has not happened, but it hasn't so far. But here we are, and I join with others in helping you reach the end of your dopey 500 book challenge. My 500 book challenge is pretty stupid, but I'm almost halfway through it. You got to keep going when you go that far on a challenge, even if it's dumb. And I have to say, since I stopped buying books for the 500 book challenge, people have sent me books that are actually better than the ones I would have bought. So it's all working out for me, I have to say. The editor of ERB Books, Jim Gerlach, has been generous to a fault regarding my contributions to his publications. I don't know if that's Gerlach or Gerlach. And seeing as you are reading all of Burroughs, I wanted to aid you in that particular task. Enclosed, find one of his more recent publications. Please throw Jim some love by posting a link to his webpage, www.erbooks.com, on any unpacking video you may produce. I actually did start an unboxing video, but when I opened up the box and I saw this, I was so shocked that I just was looking at it for like 10 minutes, forgetting that I had even started making a video. So I ruined it. So I'm making this instead. I am afraid you will have to break the plastic wrap to examine the books herein. That was no problem. I don't mind breaking plastic wrap. Oh, if you manage to get through the Man-Eater on your Burroughs reread, my hat is off to you. That one was not his best. I did read that, and that is true. It was not one of his best. Also enclosed is a bonus gift, which you may consider a 5-book challenge. Redistribute if already owned. I nominate Grammaticus. Your humble and obedient servant, Philip R. Berger. So this was awesome. I got a letter from Philip R. Berger, and he sent me cool stuff. The bonus gift that he talked about was really awesome, and I'm keeping it Grammaticus. Sorry. At least for now. So he sent me the 5 books in Lynn Carter's Under the Green Star series, which is amazing because I only read the first one and I could never find the other ones. I looked back in the olden days after I had read this first one and I couldn't find these anywhere. But now I have them. I have them all. I think I have them all. I have Under the Green Star by Lynn Carter, When the Green Star Calls by Lynn Carter, By the Light of the Green Star. And I should say, there's some awesome artwork on these volumes. Just great. This one has Roy Krenkel artwork not only on the cover, but inside. As the green star rises, and in the green star's glow. And this has Michael Whalen art, not only on the outside, but also on the inside. So this was an amazing bonus gift. And I am going to read all of these this year. I'm going to finish these this year. And then I will send them off to Grammaticus, because he at least is the one other person besides myself who could appreciate this set of books. But now on to the main event. I've gone on long enough. Let's talk about this publication, The Moon Maid, by Edgar Rice Burroughs, the Centennial edition. So this is amazing. First of all, this is a case. This is a big fancy case with the original book illustration on it. And it opens up. So you open up the case here. And inside, let me set this down here. Inside you will find some hardcover books. And this is the hardcover for The Moon Maid. So the Moon Maid saga is made up of 3 stories. One is a novel and 2 are novellas, basically. But in this edition, they were printed in 3 different hardcovers, which is great for me. I prefer them that way. So we got the Moon Maid, which has this amazing wraparound cover. It's just beautiful. And there are the spectacular end papers there for the Moon Maid. Now, this Centennial edition has tons of artwork in it, in these 3 volumes. It's just full of art for these volumes. And like in the first page by Mark Schultz, it was Mark Schultz did this. Mark Schultz is a great artist. He did some work on The Coming of Conan, which is one of my favorite books of all time from Del Rey. And he did this spectacular title page illustration for the Moon Maid. That's great. And we have a page with the signatures of the folks who were involved in the publication of this edition. We have Jim Solis, the president of ERB Incorporated. He signed it. Mark Schultz, the artist, signed it. Christopher Paul Carey signed it. He did the preface. And then we have Philip R. Berger himself, who did the afterword, sign it. So that's awesome. There are a ton of signatures here. It says, The Moon Maid, the Centennial Edition, consists of 3 volumes. The Moon Maid, The Moon Men, and The Red Hawk. Printed in 70-pound Cougar archival paper, housed in a custom case, and limited to 600 numbered and 52 lettered sets, signed by the contributors. And this copy is set PC, publisher's copy. So that's awesome. This is an awesome thing to have. And like I said, this is just full of amazing artwork. And this edition is the restored edition. So this has all of the text that was removed, restored, without all of those annoying typos. And look at that. That is an amazing illustration by Yeats. This is Thomas Yeats, who is one of my favorite artists, who's drawn a bunch of Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff on different projects. And he continues on with this project. This book has illustrations by pretty much everybody who ever illustrated anything in this series. And we have a map, which is from Edgar Rice Burroughs' notebook. So that's pretty cool that this is included, because it isn't always included. We have introductions and prologues and all kinds of stuff. We also have these fold-out pieces of artwork. There's the ship, the Barsoom, at least one version of it. And there's more Mark Schultz. And throughout the volume, there's just a ton of illustrations. It's just absolutely beautiful. The quality of this book is amazing. It's just a great publication. Yeah, it's fantastic. So it is certainly, oh, this is Krankle, right? Yeah, we've got Krankle here. It is certainly the greatest publication of this series ever. No doubt about that. So that's the Moon Maid. Then we have the Moon Men. We were just talking about the Moon Maid. This is the Moon Men, the second volume, which is actually the story that was conceived first by Edgar Rice Burroughs, although he did alter it quite a bit in the creation of this series. Lovely cover. It's a thin volume, but it's packed full of lovely illustrations. There's the end papers there. More Schultz. Look at that. That's so cool. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. So we got the second volume here. So great. This is so great. So that's the second volume. And the third volume is the Red Hawk. And at the end of this volume, we have the afterword by Philip R. Berger himself, the fella who sent me this magnificent publication. And look at that cover. This is great. Another wraparound cover. All of these volumes have wraparound covers. They're lovely. Beautiful end papers there. And this is the concluding volume of the Moon Maid trilogy. And I have to say about this trilogy, it's a multi-generational saga which takes place over 400 years. It is completely epic. Every single story in it, all three stories are very different in tone, and yet they all work together beautifully. Many consider the Moon Maid trilogy to be Edgar Rice Burroughs' greatest science fiction work. Even better than the John Carter of Mars Barsoom books, better than The Land That Time Forgot, better than all of that stuff. Many people consider that to be true of the Moon Maid, and I think it might be true because it is a wonderful, wonderful story. It is tremendously impressive. In a lot of ways, it was ahead of its time. So it's a story that's 100 years old, but pretty timeless in a way. It sweeps you right up, this story. It's magnificent. And it also has extra stuff available in this edition. We have the Collector's Archive, or as my father-in-law would say, the Collector's Archive. And it's full of cool stuff in there. Let's take a look at the cool extra stuff. One of the coolest things is this little advertisement, which you can just set on your shelf or something, which advertised the original publication in Argosy All Story Weekly, The Moon Maid. That's beautiful. And this also has a bunch of reproductions of different documents and letters by Edgar Rice Burroughs, parts of the manuscripts to the stories, which is really, really cool. It's just really awesome bonus features available with this edition. It's remarkable. Really cool stuff. Little typescripts there. All kinds of cool stuff in the bonus features. Got a little postcard. We have this reproduction of the Ace editions, which I showed in that video of every book, of every Edgar Rice Burroughs book I own. I have this edition of The Moon Maid. But it's cool to have it reproduced on this little card, and on the back you have The Moon Men, which has the two stories in it, The Moon Men and Red Hawk. So this is pretty cool. And you also have these cool movie posters for movies that were never actually done for the trilogy. All of these are done by Mark Wheatley. So that's awesome. Mark Wheatley does awesome work. So that kind of surprised me to see this. This is just a treasure trove, this volume. It's got a bunch of cool stuff. So, needless to say, I am very grateful to Philip R. Berger for sending this to me. I already started reading this today, The Moon Maid, because of course I had to pick it right up and read it right away. And it's just as good, if not better, than I remember this story being. I read this story originally probably when I was 16 or 17. So it's been a while, but it's fantastic. So thank you. And check out Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated if you're interested in this. There is, I put the link down below, or I will put the link down below. And when I went to the page, there's actually a new edition of The Pirates of Venus. That's, if it's not out now, it's going to be coming out soon, one or the other. But it looks amazing. It just looks beautiful. So there's some cool stuff on there. So check that out. It's awesome. Okay, guys, we'll catch you next time.